Welcome, gamers, to Basement Arcade Pause Menu, the show where we hit pause, sit back, and just chill. I am your host, Ben Magnet, and today on the show, returning back, she is here. She is the one and only Twitch streamer that you know of. Maybe not the one and only, but she is definitely a really awesome Twitch streamer. She's a good friend of mine. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show, Blais. Mid, how are you, girl? How you been?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
It has been a minute since you've been on the show. Has it been over a year since I last talked to you?
A few months. We'll say.
Yeah.
A couple of months.
I would say maybe a little over 10 months, give or take.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, there are times where I have like constant recordings of the show, then a little bit of a hiatus. But yeah, you're back. It's good to have you back on the show. How have you been? What you been up to, girl?
Looking for more video game, like always. More mech game.
Oh yeah. The backlog is ever growing, isn't it?
Yes. It's the year of the mech, like people are telling me. So many mech game. I love it.
I know there's a certain mech game that's coming out. We're probably going to be talking about that later on. But before we do, just a little recap. So the last time you were here on the show, you and I were talking about games that we feel deserve to be remastered, games that we feel that they could use the HD treatment, they could use the HD collection. But this time, we're still gonna be talking about gaming remasters a little bit, but this time instead of gaming remasters that we want to see, we're gonna be talking about gaming remasters we love. One game in particular, because I noticed you've been playing, because you and I were friends on the Switch. We were friends on each other's Nintendo Switches, and recently. There's a game that both of us have been playing that I see every time you pop up, I'm like, oh, hey, Mitt's on it. I see you playing this game. And that is Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection.
Yes, I love this game.
And I am because I see you play it. I mean, now, and at the time of this recording, we're recording this on May 20th. And it's been a week since The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom has come out. At this point in time, I don't have the game yet because money reasons. But Mega Man has definitely been giving me that little serotonin hit. But let's talk about Mega Man Legacy Collection. Before we jump into the collection itself, Mint, do you remember the first ever Mega Man Battle Network game you ever got?
I actually do, and someone stole it from me at school.
How dare they?
Yes, the first one I got, I believe it was 2 months after somebody stole it from me. I was so mad.
You mean you got the game, and then 2 months later, some jerk at your school stole it?
Yeah.
Oh, I would have been so pissed.
I was mad.
Did you ever find out who did it?
It was one of the friend of my ex-boyfriend.
Okay. Did they ever give it back, or was it
No. No, it was like we were at a point of cut our relationship, and he was starting to get mad at me. I was not sure if he wanted to stay with me or not, and I think I was going to the gym and I asked him to hold my polo, a big shirt with some pocket, and my game was inside that pocket. And after the gym, I got it back. I was like, wait, where's my game?
No.
I was like, wait, where's my game? Like, Tommy, do you know where my game is? No. And then, it was gone.
Friendship over.
Yes, it was. Actually.
So which Battle Network was it? Which one did you start off with?
Mega Man Battle Network 4 Blue Moon.
Okay, so you started off with Blue Moon. All right.
I didn't have any Game Boy Advance. I didn't have the Nintendo DS. But one day I got the adapter for the GameCube.
The Game Boy player, yeah.
Yes, that's when I said, yay, now I can play Game Boy Advance game. And I got the first one and I lost it.
You know, Ever since the Legacies collection has come out, people have been kind of they haven't been dogging on Battle Network 4. They've definitely been saying that Battle Network 4 is one of the weaker titles, and it's probably part of my nostalgia that's coming through,
Mm-hmm.
because even though Battle Network 4 wasn't the Battle Network game I started with, I loved Battle Network 4 when I was a kid playing it. I thought the double soul, like the double soul concept, like the double soul mechanic, where
Mm-hmm.
where Mega Man takes the form of another net navi he's interacted
Yeah,
with. I thought that was the coolest thing
that
ever.
was epic.
I mean, thankfully they brought it back, and I know they brought it back in 5, and they brought it back in 6, and definitely the double soul combinations really influenced which version of those games I was
Mm-hmm.
going to buy. But it's probably just nostalgia, because right now I'm going through the Battle Network games one by one. I just
Mm-hmm.
beat Battle Network 1. I'm in Battle
Oh,
Network 2 right now. Um, but yeah, because my first ever Battle Network game was Battle Network 3 Blue version, and I loved that game.
oh,
Not only did
that's
I loved that game so much that my brother would watch me play it, and it actually convinced him to go buy Battle Network White.
so. That was technically the same game, with a little bit of difference,
Hmm.
different like the Navi to fight.
It was
New.
different, a few different bosses and different battle chips that you can trade in between. My brother wanted it because he wanted to battle me in Mega Man, but he didn't really. Um, from what I remember, he played it. He started playing it a little bit, but he just wasn't really getting into the gameplay, because Battle Network is the combat in Battle Network is different from any other Mega Man game. It's not like free roaming, side scrolling, run and gun. It's like
Oh yeah,
grid
for sure.
based. Yeah, it just the game. But for those in case who don't know, it's grid based 3x3. You still get to move around. You still get to move Mega Man around,
Mm-hmm.
but the strategy is you get battle chips, which kind of act like attack cards, which help you do better damage to your opponent. And it takes a little while to get used to, because it's you have RPG elements, you have deck building elements, you have quick reflexes to make sure you
Mm-hmm.
can move Mega Man out and in from attacks and just deal damage when you can. And it's there's a lot. The layers of Battle Network are there, and I absolutely loved it. And I picked up on the battle system really quickly. I mean, it took me a while, and my brother unfortunately could not. So I just had two versions of Mega Man Battle Network 3 in my house. And unfortunately, both of them were sold, because at one point in time, I sold all my Battle Network games because I thought, I'm never going to be playing these games again.
No.
Cut to cut to some years down the line. I'm like, I really miss my Battle Network games. Why did I do that? But,
Mm-hmm.
you go through a phase when you thinking you're an older teenager and you're trying to be like, I'm going to get rid of all this kitty stuff. And then you become an adult. You realize, like, I should not have
Fuck.
done that. And who knew that Mega Man was still going to be a very major, influential part of my life, even well into my 30s now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm even talking with my fiance, because there are times where we see Mega Man stuff, and she like tries to shield my eyes. She's like, "Don't look at the Mega Man stuff. Go, keep walking."
Yeah, like you're saying, Mega Man Battle Network Collections is one of the best. I do not understand why people are not more into it. Like I know, like some like the new generation prefer like 3D game.
Hmm.
That Mega Man Battle Network is so amazing. There's so many reference of I know they're the people who made this game. They're a big fan of rock and roll. So the main town is ACDC, and then you have other stuff. Reference to I believe there was one about Guns N' Roses. That was like it blew my
Oh,
mind how amazing that was.
oh, that was Mega Man X5.
X
The
Five.
Yeah, the Guns N' Roses reference you're talking about. When Mega Man X5 was coming out here in the was coming out here in North America, the person who was translating the game over at Capcom America,
Mm-hmm.
um, they didn't. She didn't want. Her husband was a huge fan of Guns N' Roses, and she put some Guns N' Roses names into
Oh, okay, yeah.
but unfortunately, when the Mega Man X Legacy Collection came out, they changed the names to be more translated to what the Japanese names were, because the Japanese names were just standard Maverick names. But when they came over to America and they changed the names, it was, or when they came to North America, you have Duff McWhalen, you have literally Axl Rose, and one of my favorite Slash Grizzly. Yeah, but in the Legacy Collection, which I don't know why it upsets me, but at the same time, part of me understands it. But the other, it's like, but Duff McWhalen and the Guns N' Roses names in Mega Man X5 it just adds like a little touch to it.
Yeah,
and
awesome.
even when you're talking about in Battle Network for AC/DC Town, yes, it is the same name as the rock band, but I also want to say. It's possibly because AC/DC also stands for alternate current, direct current, because they probably just named it as because this town is all about the net and the electronics, so let's just throw that out there. But but everyone else is like AC/DC, yeah. Like you're playing the game, and you're like, someone puts on the Back in Black album, and you just hear Hell's Bells while Lan is walking around town. That would be cool. But also, one of the cool things about the Legacy Collection that I have been noticing, like as some articles have been popping up on my social feeds, is that this game, I want to say, has sold almost 11 million units. I could be wrong, but this game has actually been selling like hotcakes.
Yes,
and this is doing great numbers for Capcom, and thank goodness it is, because this is getting more people into Mega Man, even though it's a different version of the Mega Man, like say you and I grew up with. But the fact that Mega Man is making numbers and it's making money for Capcom is just making me hopeful that they could finally put out more Mega Man stuff.
I was so happy. I believe it was in Mega Man Battle Network 4 or 3. I don't remember exactly, but in Lan's room, there's actually a poster of Mega Man Legend 2. It's so amazing.
Oh, those Legends references are throughout almost all the games.
Yeah.
In Battle Network 1, I remember there's a Servbot toy, and Battle Network 1 and 2, there's a Servbot toy in Meilu's room. Battle Network 3 has a poster of Mega Man Walnut. And even when Bland's mom is watching TV, you can see Data on like the little TV in the background. And I'm just like, okay, so they know they have love for Legends. Can we please get that Legends love? Like, for real? I mean, I thankfully I do have copies of the Legends games digitally on my PlayStation 3. So I have 1, 2, and Tron Bonne. I just got those recently.
Oh God.
Yeah, they're on my hard drive. They're safe, and thankfully they're ready to go whenever I want to. Thank goodness, before Sony decides to shut that store down. Because I remember you told me that you just got Tron Bonne recently, and that was
very expensive.
That must have cost a very shiny penny.
He's like, I'm gonna do a good price for you since you come here a lot. I'm like, okay, what is your good price? $800. Do you accept a liver?
Let me just go sell my kidney. Why not?
And I was like, oh God, what the hell am I gonna do with this game? Like, I start streaming it. I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's not gonna be as good as Mega Man Legend 1 and 2. But of course, it is not as good, but it is extremely funny. It's a very, very funny game. I was laughing so hard while streaming this. I was stunned, like with all the joke and stuff, especially with the little bot when they talk. Like when the police start chasing you, like, look, Miss John, it's the police. I was laughing so hard. Yeah, Mega Man Battle Network. I hope more people buy it. I really love the versus mode. Even if some people, when they start playing it, the versus, they get obliterated the first time, because people who play versus mode are like God or something. A very powerful player.
I've heard that the games that people have been playing versus mode mostly have been 3 and 5, like those versions of Battle Network. That's where most of the PvP is coming from, which kind of makes sense, because I'm going through Battle Network 2 right now. I still like it, especially, but I still kind of laugh at some of the early translations because there
Mhm.
are a lot of. There are some times where I'm reading this, like especially in Battle Network One, where they call where when Proto Man is first introduced, he calls Chod Lode Chod, and then later on he calls him Lord Chod, and I'm like, what's going on here? There's some like there's like some things that are lost in translations. Like, come on,
Yeah.
Capcom. There was an obvious spelling mistake in Battle Network 2 that I found, and I'm just sitting there going, how did this make it through? I mean, I
Mhm.
get it. It was early 2000s, and maybe they were just trying to get the game out. But how did this happen? And because I don't remember any major spelling mistakes in Battle Network 3. But once again, the last time I played Battle Network 3 was years ago, well over like 15 plus years ago.
Mhm. Same here. By the way, have you heard of the big bug with Mega Man Battle Network 6 in the
Ooh,
collection?
I have not heard of the big bug. What's the big
Okay,
bug?
yeah. There's I did post this on my Twitter so people don't have this problem. But I don't know if it got patched, but since when we got Mega Man Battle Network 6 here in North America in the past, we didn't get the special Japanese content, which was like a collaboration with a different game called uh, the Sun Moon. Hang on, I got the box here.
Oh, that's wasn't that in Battle Network 4?
Boktai.
Yeah,
Boktai.
Boktai. Yeah, Boktai. I remember Boktai.
So they did put back the stuff from Mega Man Battle Network 6 in this version
Ooh.
with the Boktai stuff. But there's a problem. There's one mission you gotta get the Bucktie's level 3 card.
Mm-hmm.
It's the last price. If you don't get it, because if you play in English, the card will not appear. So if you beat that
Oh.
mission, it's over for you. You will never get it back, or unless somebody trade it for you,
Mm-hmm.
trade the card. But if you save your game after completing this mission in English, you will get like a soft lock, and then you won't be able to complete like 3 achievement. It's
Ooh.
yeah, it's very tedious. So, there's somebody who found a solution is when you do this mission, you swap the language to Japanese,
Mm-hmm.
the reward will change back, so you will see the real the Boktai level 3 card. Now you can complete the mission, you
Oh.
save your game, quit the game, you change the language back to English, and then you will have the card in your inventory. But if you did that mission in English and you save, you're totally screwed. You
Ah.
will have to restart the whole game.
Wow. Well, hopefully Capcom did find a way to patch that.
I hope. It's a very big bug.
Yeah, that's annoying bug, especially for Battle Network, because Battle Network games I remember was like, especially with 3, 4, and 5, because those are the ones I grew up playing. Those are the ones I owned back in the day. I remember not only buying the games but also finding the strategy guides for them, and I would flip through the strategy guides, and I would just see all the stuff I needed to do to get completion. You know, like a full battle list of battle chips that I had to
Mhm.
collect. Not only that, but especially with starting with 3, 3, 4, and 5, the massive post game that there is, especially with Battle Network 3, like going deeper into the internet, finding Serenity,
Mhm.
finding Serenity, then fighting Serenity, then fighting another even more powerful version of Base just to get his uber powerful battle
Oh
chip
yeah.
just to wreck fools. And I'm just looking at all this stuff. I was like, I have to do all of this. And
Yes.
for me, the worst part was collecting the battle chips because, especially when I was younger, finding and collecting battle chips at first was like, oh, this is fun. But then realizing I had to grind, I had to find the enemies because it's random battles, just like
Mhm.
any good RPG. The battles are random, and you don't know which enemies you have to find. I remember I needed to put my faith in RNGesus when I was playing Battle Network 2 to find this one specific chip to trade with this NPC so I could progress the story. And it
Mhm.
was just annoying because I'm just like, because you get the busting level you need to get, but then RNGesus would be like, nope, you just get Zenny, or you just get this other random battle chip that you do not need.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things where you just like, you just go back and you just like lay your heads back and go, oh, I need this one chip. And it's just annoying to get. But going into the reason why I love the Legacy Collection, and I think that this is one of the best remasters or even video game collections out there, is just all the options that Capcom gave us to
Yeah.
play the game. And one of those options that now I know some purists will probably start yelling at me saying I'm cheating, I'm not playing the game as it was intended. I don't care. I'm an adult. I have a very busy schedule. Any chance I have to sit down and play a game, even for 2+ hours straight, is a godsend, and that is Buster Max mode. Buster Max mode is an absolute freaking godsend in this game.
Cheating.
I don't care, man. Now, for those of you, obviously you and I know what Buster Max mode is. For those of you who don't know, Buster Max mode is essentially a mode that you can toggle on and off whenever you want. You are not locked into it whenever you start a new Battle Network game. And it makes your Mega Buster do 100 points of damage, because when you first start off as playing Battle Network, your Mega Buster only does 1 point of damage. But as the game progresses, you can make it stronger. So I think maybe eventually you can get it to do like 5 or 10 points of damage at a time, and that's an uncharged shot. Buster Max mode, right out of the gate, you can just you don't even have to use battle chips essentially for some parts.
Nope.
And as you upgrade Mega Man throughout playing the game, the damage that your Mega Buster does increases as well. So if it goes to 2 damage, it goes to 200 damage, which makes bosses busting so much easier and so much less tedious. And I think that's one of the best things that Capcom has done, because I will not lie, as a kid, when I'm first playing this, I don't know, or I'm not realizing that my Mega Buster is just so weak. It's like a pea shooter. It just does 1 point of damage. And I'm used to games like Mega Man Legends, Mega Man, the regular Mega Man series, and Mega Man X4 and the Mega Man X games, where my Buster is my main weapon and the special weapons are the ones that do extra damage to bosses.
There's something else that flew almost under everyone's radar, that Capcom did something very awesome about Mega Man Battle Network. It's not about the game, but it's on their YouTube channel. They actually, just before the game get released, maybe let's say 1 month ago, they have released the full season 1 and 2 of Mega Man Battle Network, the cartoon show. I watched it completely. I'm like, oh shit, that's so awesome. And it's free.
You know what? I'm so glad you mentioned that, because when I heard the news that they released the entire seasons 1 and 2 of the anime on YouTube, I remember waking up when I was, once again, this is back when I was a kid, and I found out that there was even a Mega Man NT Warrior anime. It was on Kids WB. I remember waking up and watching it almost every Saturday morning. I had it TiVoed for a short time, and then something happened and I never saw it again. And now, and unfortunately, those older anime, those older cartoons, those older animes, sometimes they're hard to find physical DVD copies of it. And as far as I know, there is no DVD set of the entire first or second season. So the fact that Capcom's like, oh, let's just put it up on YouTube. I mean, the show was old. We're celebrating the release of Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection. Why not put the anime up there? And even I'm watching the anime, I was like, wow, this is definitely one of those anime you remember loving more as a kid. But at the same time, it's still the fact that they decide to put it up there and it's there. Hopefully it stays there hopefully they don't take it down.
No, I hope so.
But because both of seasons are saved playlists on my YouTube, and just the fact that it's there and I could actually watch the show from beginning to end in its entirety, I say it's a really good move by Capcom. And it also makes me want to play more Legacy Collection.
Yeah, like I said, I did watch it completely. Just the first season though, because I didn't have time to watch the second. But I mean, we know that it's a cartoon more for kids, but even as an adult, I did enjoy it a lot. I was coming back from work. I was getting my little bowl of chips, my little Coca-Cola. There you go. Let's play like a 5 episode. Watch it, go sleep, repeat.
Yeah.
That was really fun.
Yeah. So, question for you, Mint. When you restarted playing Battle Network when the Legacy Collection came out, were you playing with Buster Max mode on, or did you turn it off?
No, turn it off.
Okay. All right.
Mm.
So you were playing it the way it was originally intended.
Yes.
Honestly, I think that the Buster. I mean, I love the fact that Buster Max mode is just it's there. It's there if you want it. It's there
Hmm.
if you need it, and it's definitely super easy to. It makes the yes, it does make the game easier, but the fact that it's an option is one of the things that I feel that helps make this collection such a boon to other gamers and to even people who are just getting into Mega Man Legends, or not
Hmm.
Mega Man Legends, excuse me, Battle Network, because it does the combat is much different from more traditional Mega Man games, and I feel that having Buster Max mode there to help ease players into it, and if they feel confident in their abilities, then they could just go ahead and turn off, and they can try a boss that they. Because I remember when I was a kid and I first fought Gutsman, and Mega Man only had 100 hit points, and I see Gutsman with 300, and I go, "Oh no!" I get instantly afraid because Gutsman is supposed to be the easiest boss in the entire game, and
Yeah.
I just got demolished because I had no idea how to properly use my chips. I'm just like trying to charge my Mega Buster, and nothing was working. And with Buster Max mode, yes, it makes the boss fights easier. Yes, it makes it it can you can blaze through the story quick.
Hmm.
I think it only took me about like 10 hours to beat the first Mega Man Battle Network, the story mode,
Hmm.
and that's with Buster Max mode on. And that's just like cool. That saves me time. I can jump into Battle Network 2 and then eventually 3, 4, 5, and 6. And I can just go through the story, enjoy the game, and play it at my own pace. But besides that, I also love all the different filters, the filters that they can do. You can smooth the pixels out if you really want, or you can have a classic GBA pixel, which I will not admit I love having my GBA pixels.
Hmm.
That's nostalgic for me. And even just like all the different options you can do to make the game comfortable for your viewing. Like you can change the screen size, you can change the borders,
Yeah.
um, and the fact that when you turn the game on, the original voice actor
Yeah. That
from
was amazing.
Bound Network is there talk as Mega Man talking to you, and I think that is just fantastic. For me, that just makes me happy as a nerd because when I first turned the game on and I heard him like, why does he sound so why does this Mega Man sound so familiar? Lo and behold, it's the voice actor from the anime.
It is. That was really awesome. The first time I was like, wait, I know this guy. I know this
Yeah.
voice actor.
I mean, I've been ranting about how much I love Bound Network. Man, what do you love most about this Legacy collection?
Mm, I would say I do like the versus mode that it happens sometime I'm gonna play a game and then I'm just gonna get butchered like in 5 seconds because some people make these insane combo that are impossible to fight back. But, you try again and then you get better at it. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you if you play versus mode, if people are watching the podcast, don't give up. Like try again. You're gonna win eventually. You might die a few times. The versus mode, after you complete all the story, you will collect all these cards. You make your own combo. So it's kind of like technically like Magic the Gathering. Like you make
Mm-hmm.
your deck and you go fight. And sometimes you will have like I don't know, like the best the best card against you. Like, ah, damn it. Okay, I'm gonna play against you. I'm gonna swap deck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like when someone opens up like it's the best opening hand they get
Oh
like
yeah,
it's like, oh cool, I could do a program advance right off the bat
right
and just do
away.
like
Like
300 points of damage, and you're like,
dead.
why? And then you're looking at your own hand, it's like, why do I have a horrible hand? This is not good.
Yeah, like I remember I beat one player. I just put one card on the field, just one, and the guy could not do anything. He just I mean, the game just like stopped, like lagging, and he just left the game because he could not do anything about it. So it's like I don't remember the name of the card. It's like a microphone that appear on the field, and it started doing some music. and as long as it's there, the enemy player's HP will keep dropping,
Oh.
and he cannot do anything about it unless he does destroy the microphone. But that microphone was behind like a giant block of a stone. He
Mm.
had no card to shoot against the block, so you could see clearly, like after 1 minute in the battle, he was panicking, like trying to do anything to destroy the microphone. He could not. I was standing behind the block, like, okay, one day he's gonna do something. Nope, zero HP. He just log off.
He's like, I'm out.
Yeah, I'm out.
I give up. That's one of the reasons why I love the Battle Network games. Is that now I haven't gotten into versus mode personally. I don't know, because even when I had Battle Network as a kid, the multiplayer was always there. The
Mhm.
playing against your friends, the trading of chips was always there. And that's like with Battle Network 3 on. That's why Capcom kept making different versions. It's kind of like Pokemon, where
Yeah,
different games have different bosses, but they also have different battle chips, so you can swap between them, which I think is a great way to get people. I mean, also, of course, it's a great way to buy multiple copies of the same game,
yeah.
but also it's just a fun way to play against your friends. I've never really played Battle Network multiplayer, even when my brother had Battle Network 3, when he had a white version. We never really tried it because he just couldn't get into the battle system or the way the combat worked.
Hmm.
And the fact that Capcom not only made all 6 games available for PvP, and the fact that they're utilizing online in what and what I believe is in a good way, because I've heard the online battle system is running smoothly. It runs
Yeah.
well,
Hmm.
and that just makes me happy, because this could open the door to competitive play, to
Oh
people
yeah.
playing competitively and in tournaments. I would not be surprised if I were to go to a video game convention, like say Portland or SoCal, and someday someone's like, "Hey, Battle Network 3 champion, we're gonna have a Battle Network 3 tournament. Bring your
Championship.
Switch and you can duel it out in Mega Man Battle Network." It's like, whoa. Because when you go to like retro conventions or even video game conventions, you see the standard fare, like fighting game, like fighting like Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, Mario Kart. Maybe I went to a convention a few weeks ago. They had a Pokemon Puzzle League tournament, which I thought was really cool.
Wow.
But if the competitive scene keeps growing with Battle Network, I think we can see more tournaments down the line. And part of me is really hoping for that.
The Mega Man Battle Network series, the same as Advance War, they have like a big community behind them. But the way how I saw how they do the competition, it's they made like a version with all the stuff like from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 into one game, and then people they play online with that version, and they can actually swap the navy. They don't have to play Mega Man, so they can actually play with a different navy, and they do
Oh,
different combos. So yeah, it's kind of like a mod, but
okay.
there's tournament of that, and people actually love this.
No, wow. Yeah, because actually that would be cool if you got a chance to play as a different net Navi. Because as much as I would love to play as Mega, as obviously would, if if this world existed, I would definitely have Mega Man as my net Navi. But the chance to play other net Navis, I wouldn't mind playing as Proto Man.
there's
Proto Man is
there's
pretty cool.
there's four I really want to play. There's Colonel.
Colonel.
Yeah, Colonel. There's Sparkman, the
Mm-hmm.
one with giant needle electricity.
Mm-hmm.
There's Metal Man. That's my favorite one.
Okay.
And there's Maggie, the little
Oh,
girl medical.
yes. Yeah, she's in Battle Network 5.
Yes,
Yep, yep. She
she's in
was
Team
she's in Team Proto
Protoman.
Man. That was, Team Proto Man that was my game when I had it on the GBA years ago. Mostly because I liked the Proto Soul and the Search Soul. I thought the Search Soul looked so cool.
With a
I mean,
sniper.
it's like Search Man. It's like when you say Search Man, you're like, what does Search Man look like? And then you see him as a sniper, and you're like, oh,
Sniper with a rocket launcher.
mm-hmm. Napalm Man is pretty cool too. He
Yeah,
just like blows stuff up,
he's a
like Mega
tank.
Man. Yeah, Mega Man's form when he has the napalm soul, it's just like it's essentially every time I remember when I was a kid, like if you could hear Creedence Clearwater Revival's Fortunate Son play,
Mm-hmm.
whenever I got napalm man, I just like lay waste to the opposite side of the field. It's like
It kind of looked like a mech, to be honest.
It kind of does.
Like a Mad Cat from Mech Warrior with the 2-pack of missile.
Yeah, definitely. Well, as great as the Mega Man Legacy Collection is, and as great as what the numbers are doing well, the options Capcom has given you to play the game your way, to play the game 100% authentic, and just all the different options they give you for aesthetics and for competitive play, that I feel is a benchmark. But also, it's not one of my favorite. I mean, it is quickly becoming one of my favorite video game collections / remasters.
Mm-hmm.
But another game that I want to talk about really quick that just makes me so happy into what they did with not only just keeping the original spirit of the game, but updating the visuals and just still making the game very hard. I mean, still keeping the difficulty, was the Crash Bandicoot Insane trilogy.
I'm not gonna lie. I only play a little bit of 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I play the original version on the demo.
On the PlayStation demo disc.
Yes.
I still have my
those.
demo disc when I got my PlayStation. I still have it. I just never got rid of it. I don't know why I still have this demo disc. I just do. I remember it came with my system. I just never got rid of it, but
keep it.
I'm going to. I'm definitely holding on to that sucker because it had demos of Crash Bandicoot 3, had demos of Spyro the Dragon. I think there was the opening cinematic for Parasite Eve, if I remember correctly.
I think so. There was Tomb Raider, a demo of Tomb Raider.
I don't know if mine had the Tomb Raider demo, but I know I played the Spyro demo a lot. I think it also had the Medieval demo.
Yeah. That's how I discovered that game. That was amazing.
Yeah. But yeah, going back to the Crash Bandicoot Insane trilogy, just the fact that, I mean, not only, let me look, updated visuals are great. Part of me is a little bit bummed out because some games, they let you toggle between the original graphics and the old one, or the soundtrack, the old soundtrack and the new soundtrack. Like, I want to put the Spyro Reignite trilogy into like one of my favorites, but I've never actually played Spyro. I've never even played the Reignite trilogy.
Oh, really?
I know. Yeah, it's one of those games where I recognize how good it is, and part of me does want it. I will, if I ever get it in my hands, I would love to have it in my collection. I just never got it.
Mm-hmm.
And I love dragons. I love and even when I would play the demo on my PlayStation, I loved that Spyro demo. I had fun just walking around, just spitting fire at enemies and then like jumping up, clutching their butts, going, my butt's on fire, and running around. I thought it was one of the funniest things ever as a kid. I just never played the game properly, and I really need to. Next time I'm on a show, I need to hunt that game down and snag it. But with Crash Bandicoot, obviously that's a name I love, and that's a name I have fond memories of. I loved playing 2. My brother and I had 3, Crash Bandicoot 3 Warped, and we played those games to death. And what Toys for Bob did to not only to bring the Crash games to modern consoles, those games look gorgeous. They are absolutely stunning, and even the fact that they have online leaderboards and all these little extra features in the game is like that didn't really touch the difficulty, but at the same time, it's like they made it accessible for everyone to enjoy Crash Bandicoot. Crash Bandicoot is no longer just a PlayStation game because it was back in the 90s.
But what you're saying is they're making a collection of the 3 first games. Is that what you're saying? Okay.
Yep, the original 3.
That's cool. It's gonna be my time to try them.
I mean, just like the Spyro trilogy, like Spyro Reignite trilogy, whereas they had the original 3 games that were on PlayStation, because Spyro and Crash, they were PlayStation mascots for a good long while.
Yeah.
And, as we all know, the rights kind of jumped around, and just a bunch of, like, I think Universal Interactive owned Crash Bandicoot at first, and then Naughty Dog, like, Universal Interactive owned the character, but they contracted Naughty Dog to develop the game, and then Naughty Dog owns the game or owned the rights, and then the rights went to Activision. It's just been like a whole like juggled mess over the years of who owns what, and now Crash and Spyro are both owned by Activision. And before, I mean, not to say Activision's always been good, they haven't, but before Activision like really decided to make us mad, thankfully we got these two amazing remasters and game collections.
Yeah.
So that modern people, so that not only modern fans or that fans who loved the games back in the day, but now a newer generation can experience these old games. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I will always champion remasters and collections. I mean, as I do understand why people want new games. It's like, we want to play new games. We want the new stuff. But at the same time, with collections and remasters, especially good ones like Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection, Crash, Spyro, it gives a chance for fans or for new fans to come around and enjoy and play these games. And in the case of Crash Bandicoot, because the sales of the Insane trilogy did so well, we got Crash Team Racing Nitro Field, which is a remake of Crash Team Racing, which was one of my favorite games as a kid. I absolutely loved that game. I didn't have an N64 for a while, so that was the only kart racer I had. And then we finally got Crash 4. Yeah, we actually got a sequel. We got a true honest-to-God sequel, and it was a great sequel. Everyone loved it. That got such high marks, and I own the game. I just haven't played it yet.
Too much game to play. It's the problem.
Yeah, that's the problem of being an adult, because you have all these amazing games to sit down. Like, I just got Jedi Survivor. One of my co-hosts on the Fake Nerd podcast, Amazon screwed up, and they gave him an extra copy. So he gave me his extra copy of Jedi Survivor. So I have a brand spanking new game. I just started playing it. I beat the first main tutorial level last night. But even then, just looking back, it's like, oh my God, I still have so many other games to play, and there are more games.
Yep.
Like I haven't gotten Tears of the Kingdom yet, and I know that once I get Tears of the Kingdom, I'm just going to become an absolute shut-in. I'm just going to be like a little hermit.
That's the reason. Some people, there's one of my friends who tell me, so when are you going to finish Xenoblade Chronicle, the first one? I'm like, I don't want to start this because I know it's going to be like 80 hours if I complete everything. I don't want to start these games. They're so big. And I did start a little bit the new Zelda, and of course it's the same, like the same length. It's gonna be that long, that big, unless I try to do a speed run that I don't wanna explore stuff. So I play a little bit every day, but I'm like, oh my God, it's never gonna end.
I mean, that's why I play the Battle Network games on with Buster Max mode on. It's essentially me speed running the game.
Yeah, exactly.
it's essentially me speed running it, and also I'm still exploring. I'm still having fun. Although I will admit, I definitely miss my strategy guides, because I also, unfortunately, like an idiot, not only did I sell my games, I also sold my strategy guides for Battle Network 3, 4, and 5. And those maps, I mean, thankfully the maps and people, the game points you in the right direction of like, hey, go that way to advance the story. It helped. Like, internet walkthroughs are there, thankfully, but partially it's not the same. But dear God, I forgot how complicated and intricate the maps are in the Battle Network games.
It's the first one. The first one is insane. Like, the internet look like every area you go, it look all the same. And then later they do like these modifications to it, make the game like, okay, no, I know where I am, but the first game it's good, but holy fuck, it is painful to know where to go.
I got lost in Den Area 3 when I was playing the first Battle Network game, because I had to go fight Stone Man. And I couldn't understand how to get to him, because in Den Area 3 of Battle Network 1, you had to go down to the state. You had to go up a ramp, and then down a ramp, or down a ramp, then up a ramp, and then make a left. You had to make a left, but not that left. You have to make this left. And it's just like, how the flip-flop do I get there? Thank God the internet is your friend, and you can have you could like pull up maps and you can like see it's like where the frack do I go? Oh, that's where I need to go.
Oh, I was streaming this. The same thing happened to me, and like, okay, I will try 10 more minutes, and then I'm checking a walkthrough, and then okay, fuck it, go check a walkthrough. Ah, that's how I need to reach him. Okay,
Hmm.
Cool.
I have a feeling that a whole bunch of other Bound Network players just had the same thing and said, "Fuck it, look." They just pulled up a map.
Yeah,
I,
the
that's
first one is
definitely
insane.
yeah, that's definitely what I did because let's be real. As much as I love the series, I can definitely see why a lot of fans or a lot of people are saying that Bound Network 3 and Bound Network 5 and 6 are the better games in the
Hmm.
collection. As I mean, yeah, Bound Network 1, it lays the foundation. It's the first one. Doesn't really do a lot. Bound Network 2 builds it up even more. You get the style change, you get all this other cool stuff. And then in 3, 4, 5, and 6, it's like, okay, we have style change in 3, we have double soul in 4, 5, and 6, we have all this other cool stuff that you can do in the Mega Man games. We introduced dark chips in
Hmm.
4, dark chips in 5. Just like let's expand the combat even more, or let's expand what Mega Man can do. And I'm like, okay, yeah, it
That's
definitely has
where
gotten better with time.
that's where it gets good.
Yeah. And even in the liberation battles in 5, the grid based strategy I thought was I mean, yeah, it is a little bit confusing at first, but the more you play it, the easier it gets.
Hmm.
And also, it's just really fun to like because you actually do get to control other navies in that game too, which I
Yeah,
thought was awesome.
that's the thing I wanted. That's the only part I wanted with the collection. It was something like being able to swap Navi, but no, it's just Mega Man. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
that's why the people on the internet that made that mod so people can take different Navi and stuff.
Hmm.
That thing is really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. That hopefully maybe I mean because I am playing my version on the Switch. I mean, I know the collection is available for PlayStation, Xbox, Steam. But for me, playing it on the Switch or playing it on a Nintendo console, it feels like home, if you know
Yeah.
what I mean.
Hmm.
Because I had these games on the Game Boy. I feel like these games were made for Nintendo consoles,
Yeah.
and I mean, obviously, if you doesn't matter what version you have, play the whatever version you want. By all means, just play the games. But it just feels I feel that extra bit of like nostalgia playing these
Hmm.
games on my Switch, especially when my fiance say she's playing Cult of the Lamb, and I take the Switch off the dock up. I go downstairs, I sit down with her. She's playing Cult of the Lamb, but I'm playing Battle Network in handheld mode, and I'm just sitting there going, "This is just like back in the day when I would be playing these games on my Game Boy Advance."
Hmm.
It it just brings those feelings back for me. But Mint, do you have, if you can think about it, or if you had to pick, do you have any video game remasters, other video game remasters, or video game collections that you think is a great collection? Almost every gamer should experience these games at least once in their lives.
Hmm. Um, there is one game that I do not trust Square Enix with it.
Oh, I'm listening.
My favorite game of all time, Parasite Eve 1 and 2.
Okay.
I do not trust these people with it, especially when the third one, which does not exist. I know you're gonna tell me, hey, there is a third one. No, it does not exist. It was made to technically end the franchise. It was. If you think about it, it was made to kill the whole franchise.
No.
That's why it was not called Parasite Eve 3. And I believe the author of the book did denied the his involvement with the third game because it was when he read the script, it was like F no, and just threw the
Mm.
paper. He
Oh
ran
wow.
out of the door or something. I'm trying. I'm hoping that's how he did react because the third game make no sense at all compared to the
Mhm.
first and sequel. So maybe the first one and two, but by a different company.
So Is that so? Is there a Parasite Eve collection out, or do you just want a Parasite Eve collection?
I want a remastered of 1 and 2.
Okay, okay.
Mm.
But is there a collection that's currently out now that you think people should definitely get and like snag the second they
Mm.
can?
Yeah, Mega Man Battle Network, that's for sure. In
Yeah, I agree with that.
term of collection,
Because I've
mm,
also heard. I mean, I don't own the game yet. Once again, too many games, too many things,
mhm.
too many things on my backlog, and also I still have the originals for the Game Boy. But I could not tell you how happy I was when I heard that Advance Wars 1 and 2 was coming to
Oh
the
yeah,
Switch. And
that's really good.
I've also heard good things about that collection, about how that collection is like it brings back the it just brings back that classic Advance Wars feeling, but also
Mhm.
the anime cutscenes look really nice. The quality of life improvements they made are really nice. Only thing is that people have complained about is the matchmaking for online isn't the best. But at the same time, this is one of those games where the more stuff they added, just it I don't want to say it overcompensates, but it evens out. Whereas, like, yeah, there's this one bummer about the game, but here's all this great stuff about this collection. Definitely pick it up if you should.
Mhm. The music is excellent. Like I said on Twitter, I said the music is so good and one make more want to dance. The
I
music
would
is that
love,
good.
yeah, I want to get Advance Wars, but I still have my Game Boy copies. I'm gonna hold on to the Game Boy copies, and part of me wants to play through the Game Boy games first, and then get the HD collection for the Switch. But but once again, just way too many games.
I'm gonna say if you get the collection for Advance War, you're gonna get a surprise.
Okay, because I would
I don't
like
want
to
to
get.
spoil anything, but you're gonna get a surprise.
All right, I'll keep that in mind. Yeah,
A big collection I will want to see. It's from
mhm.
software. I will want to see a big collection of Armored Core. Like
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4. No, I would say 1, 2, 3
Hmm.
because 4 is good. But it's a lot of people didn't like it because it was way too fast, which I understand. 5, it's the reason it's online only, so that cannot work.
Hmm.
Yeah, well, 1, 2, and 3
Okay.
all together with the expansion stuff.
I think I've known about Armored Core for a while. I don't know if I was accidentally confusing it with Front Mission because I know Front Mission is getting collection eventually. That's going to be on the Switch.
Hmm. I got
Because
the first. The
yeah,
second one is coming.
okay. So the first is already out. Second one's on the way. Got it.
Hmm. And
Um,
there's a third one also that is coming.
Yeah, I remember seeing a review for Front Mission 4 on the PS2, and people were saying that Front Mission 4 was amazing. Like, because when you tell me tactical games, I think of games like Final Fantasy Tactics, Fire
Hmm.
Emblem, and then I remember watching X Play back in the day, and they were reviewing Armored Core, or not Armored Core, excuse me, Front Mission 4, and it's like, no, this is a tactics game, but it's mech tactics. I'm like,
Hmm.
mech tactics? Tell me more. And I never got the game, and I'm upset about it.
Yeah, From Mission is a very, very, very good series, but we got some very awful release.
Mm.
The first one we got was 3,
Hmm.
then we got 4, then Silence. We got the first one on DS,
Hmm.
and then that's it. We didn't
Oh.
get the second one. We didn't get the fifth one. We didn't get the best one, which was From Mission Online, which
Ooh.
I was extremely lucky, and I did play this a lot,
Okay.
so that I was able to purchase PlayStation 2 from Japan, the copy
Ooh.
itself as well, and I was plugging on the Japanese server playing From Mission Online. It's not tactical. I mean, it is, but it's not as it's not like square base like Final
Mm-hmm.
Fantasy Tactics.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a third person shooter with I believe it was 8 player against 8.
Okay.
And when you were shooting, you had like action point, so you could not like shoot twice. You had to wait that bar to fill up so you can do another attack again. So what people were doing is like they were doing like a quick strike. They were charging, shooting, then using their wheel to retreat, then
Mm-hmm.
attacking. And so it was a forth and back. It was extremely fun. It sadly they turned off their server.
Maybe someday.
Maybe.
Maybe someday. But I will not lie. I was when the announcement for Armored Core 6 came out, because I mean, once again, Armored Core, that's a series I feel like I know of. Never played any of the Armored Core games, but I mean, but because of like Dark Souls, Bloodborne, and Elden Ring, anytime From Software comes up as like, hey, we have a new game coming out, here's some things of it, I am now just frothing at the mouth. And for a game like Armored Core 6, Fires of Rubicon, which is slated to come out, I want to say next year.
August.
Oh, it's coming out in August?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, August of this year?
Mm-hmm.
Nani? Bloody hell.
I do believe it was in August. I did order the $600 edition. But I believe it was August.
Jeez, man, $600 edition?
Yes.
You
Sorry.
better don't apologize to me. I mean, I am happy for you that you're able to spend money for a $600 edition, but you better be getting like a half size mech for $600.
25 August this year.
Already then.
Mm-hmm.
Good
the
to know.
collector's a giant mech. I believe it's 30 centimeter, like the size. That was the first version, and there was like a deluxe where you can put the mech inside like a garage or hangar. Yeah, that's the one that cost $600.
Oh, okay, it better. But yeah, because with From Software, because with From Software with Armored Core, I once again don't really know much about Armored Core, but I would also say if there was a chance for them to come out with an Armored Core collection, I would definitely give that a shot. I would definitely love to pick that up, because I feel like with video game collections, especially when they have multiple games in one thing, it gives you not only is like, hey, here's us, or here's a company preserving these games, making them accessible, making them easy. Because jumping back to Battle Network, before the Legacy Collection came out, a lot of those older Battle Network games, especially 1, 2, and 3, they were very expensive on the secondhand market, and now you have them available to play on modern consoles with a lot of quality of life improvements. It still gives you the chance to play them as they were originally intended to be played.
Mm-hmm.
And with and really it just, I like with Mega Man, because Mega Man has been, I would say Mega Man's been a bit of a rut. Like a game comes out, people are overjoyed, but then silence.
Mm-hmm.
Game comes out, people are like woohoo, silence. Like Mega Man 11 didn't do a whole lot numbers wise. Like I know it didn't sell the best, but it was still touted, and I would say the reviews were good. I would say like people were giving it like 7, 8 out of 10s, give or
Mm-hmm.
take. Still a good game, but it just wasn't, pushing the numbers. And now that with something like Mega Man Legacy Collection is pushing the numbers, because Capcom has this thing called the Capcom test, where they put out a game. If it makes like a certain benchmark of sales wise, then they know people want it, or they want more of it. So hopefully with this, we get more Mega Man stuff.
Yeah, the problem with the Mega Man series is that they made so many, like they announced so many new game in the past, but they all canceled them. And then since a long time, the only new Mega Man game we got was, I believe, Mega Man 10 on Switch.
Mega Man 11.
11. So that's it. That's all we got since then. Then we got a
Yeah.
lot of Resident Evil, we got a lot of Monster Hunter, a lot of stuff about Street Fighter, but no love for Mega Man. Yeah,
It's a
it's
bummer.
bad. It
Yeah.
sucks.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
hopefully, because obviously other companies have seen this approach as like, hey, if we put out these collections and they sell well, will probably help fund a new game. Like with I would say because Crash Bandicoot sold so well that prompted Activision to do have Toys for Bob make Crash Bandicoot 4 because that was a long way because there were sequels on the PlayStation 2 done by different developers because there were other Crash games after the PlayStation, but not a lot of people talk fondly about those older Crash games that were on the PlayStation or even the original Xbox because they weren't received very well. You would look at
Mhm.
Crash Bandicoot 4 when the game came out, and of course, huge diehard Crash fans played it. They're like, this encaptures all the stuff we loved about the original Crash Bandicoot games and dials into 11. And it did well. Like it did well. I want to say it did decently well financially. It did well critically, and the game has been praised to high heaven. But I mean, Activision be Activision, those bastards. But still, you buy the collections, you show the company that hey, this is a viable financial move. More games get made. Hopefully, that
Mhm.
happens with Mega Man.
I hope so. I'm still waiting for Mega Man to be off the moon, if you know what I mean.
Oh, girl, let's not talk about. I am the mountains of salt. I have at Capcom. I will never forget one of my oldest friends. I met him at another childhood friend's graduate. I saw him again. It's been well over 10 years since he and I last saw each other. We're hanging out, and this is like what 2011, 2010. It was a long time ago,
Mhm.
well over 10 years ago. We're sitting there, we're talking video games, and he mentions that Capcom is making Legends 3 for the DS. I don't own a DS at this point, so I'm like, well, I definitely need to get or a 3DS, excuse me. I need to buy a Nintendo 3DS, so I eventually buy
Mhm.
one. First game I buy is Ocarina of Time for Ocarina of Time 3D because I'm like, I've never experienced the original Ocarina of Time. This is the best way to play it, I've heard. I'm going to snag it. Absolutely loved it. Also on my list as one of the best remasters I've ever played because thank God I could just like tap a button for the Iron Boots and the Water Temple instead of constantly going in the menu, going out, in the menu, going out.
Yeah.
But seriously, the mountains of salt that I have that they canceled Mega Man Legends 3, I am still angry at Capcom for that. I love them. I do. But that's why I'm hoping that they finally get off their ass and make a Mega Man Legends Legacy collection. And then that sells like absolute hotcakes, and people are essentially pointing their metaphorical mega busters at Capcom as like Legends 3.
He's
We
still on the
want
moon.
it.
He's still on the moon. He's like, where
Still on
the
the
fuck are
moon.
they doing?
Still on the moon. Yeah, yeah. Oh
Maybe
my
one
god.
day.
Uh,
Maybe.
we can only hope. Every time Capcom, because I think Capcom has a thing coming up for summer. I know they have a presentation for Summer Games Fest in the beginning of June, so it's only a few weeks away. I know it's going to be mostly about Street Fighter. They're probably going to mention something about like updates to Resident Evil 4, which is
Mhm.
another remaster I need to get because I have heard that I love the original Resident Evil
4,
4.
same.
Yeah,
It's very good.
I still need to because I have Resident Evil 7 saved on my hard drive for my PlayStation because of the PlayStation Plus program. I want Resident Evil 8. I played a demo of it where they put it's third person, not first person, and I loved it. It was terrifying. And Resident Evil 4, of course, that was the first Resident Evil game I played. That was the first Resident Evil game that made me fall in love with, or didn't make me fall in love with the franchise. It just made me, it was my introduction, but it was one of the things where it was like, okay, I see Resident Evil. You're absolutely terrifying. And I've heard nothing but great things about that remake, and I just need it. Once again, too many games. I feel that should be the tagline for this episode. It's like, too many games.
Too many games. Yep. That's insane. And I'm trying to. I'm buying all the triple A game I want. I'm also trying to support all the indie as well, and there's
Oh,
so
yeah.
many of them. And there's one coming. I believe it's in June soon. The one with the you play as a fireman, a firefighter. Have you heard about this one?
I don't think so. The indie game that I know that's coming out soon, I want to say it's coming out this year, maybe in the summer, that I really want to play is the Plucky Squire. Have you heard about that one?
Oh yeah, I saw that. It looked cool.
It does. How it like mixes all these, like, it's 2D then 3D and it mixes all these different animation styles together in these different types of these genre games.
Kind of remind me of a little bit of Paper Mario.
Ooh, okay, yeah. Yeah.
Since it keep changing the 3D to 2D. Yeah, it did look good. The one right now I want to get is I just checked the name. It's called Nuclear Blaze. It look
Ooh.
really awesome. You're firefighters. They send you inside like a giant building on fire, but you will discover something very dark about this building. And yeah, you're it's like kind of like Castlevania, but your weapon is it's
It's a
called
fire
again
hose.
a fire hose. There you go. It looked pretty
Oh,
cool.
all right. I haven't heard of that one. I know there's like a few other indie games coming out. Well, the one that has made a really big impact on my radar has been Plucky Squire. The one prior to that, which my household still has been playing, especially my fiance, is Cult of the Lamb. That game has been absolutely fantastic. I absolutely love it. And with the new update that just came out, it expanded the game even more. My fiance just beat it, and I need to get on that. But once again, I also got Jedi Survivor on my PS5 that I need to finish, as well as Sonic Frontiers, because I haven't beaten Sonic Frontiers yet.
Too many games.
Too many games. But actually, that reminds me, speaking of Sonic, even though as much as I love Sega, I want to kind of give Sega, I don't want to give them a lot of flack, but I must say, I mean, I want to give them some flack for their business practices, especially with the Origins collection. But playing the Origins collection, because I do have it, I got it for sale on my Switch. I have to say, playing through story mode and playing through the games and what they have, especially for anniversary mode, where you don't have lives, you have these little coins. It has actually made it. I mean, the game looks absolutely great. The way they were to format it into 16:9, but you could still play in 4:3 should you desire, and you could still play classic version should you desire. But with anniversary mode, the game looks amazing, even with the 16-bit. The game doesn't look stretched out into modern screen formats. But one of the things I love, especially with Sonic 1, getting those Chaos Emeralds I hated trying to get the Chaos Emeralds in Sonic the Hedgehog 1. I absolutely despise it. It just upset me. And I would always mess up. And of course, you don't get it to try again. You try again by resetting your cartridge. But in anniversary mode, there's like, hey, if you have the spare coins, you can try again. You want to try again? And you could try as many times as you have those coins. And those coins are kind of like lives, but if you die, you don't lose them. And they only go up. They don't go down. The only time they go down is if you spend them to try the special stage again, or if you unlock some art and other stuff in the actual game in the game itself.
Okay.
Which I would say that's, I mean, I'm still mad at Sega for finally coming up and oh, hey, we're going to come out with Sonic Origins Physical Edition now. And there's more stuff to get. I'm like, you can finally play as Amy Rose. That's awesome. But damn it, Sega, I already have the game. I don't want to double dip. And then I see what they're going to do for the physical version, how it looks like a classic Sega box. I'm like, oh, God damn it. I'm going to double dip, aren't I?
Beautiful classic to make you buy more stuff.
I mean, that's what I did for Sonic Mania. I got Sonic Mania for the PS4 originally. I have the collector's edition. You can't see it, but but I can pull it up.
Oh, I see it. It's on the top of
Oh, that's just that Sonic right there. Oh, that Sonic's just like a little action figure. But I'm talking about this beauty.
Okay. With the ring inside.
Yeah, it has the ring inside. Let me see if I can pull her out. Yep, there it is. Ta-da! Yeah, I got the special edition.
Mine only.
Yeah, I got the special edition for the PS4, but this is when the game first was announced and it came out. Then I find out that hey, we're also coming out with a physical edition, And not only does the physical edition have all the DLC included, it also comes with a reversible cover, an art book, and you can bet your butt that I definitely double dipped in that. I bought it for the Switch, so I have a version of the Switch and I have a version of the PlayStation 5 on the PS4. Well, now my PS5, and I can only bet that when the Origins collection comes out
I'm
for
gonna buy
modern
it twice.
consoles, yeah, I'm not proud of it. I mean, thankfully, I didn't buy Sonic Mania when it first came. I mean, I bought the game when the game first came out, but with Sonic Mania Plus, I waited a little while. I think I got my copy. I got a special eBay bundle, or I got a decent deal for that and another Sega Genesis collection. I want to say for I got both games for like $35, give or take. It was
Mhm.
definitely under $40 for both games, and it was physical. They had everything there. Everything was fine. But I mean, I bought it for Sonic Mania, but I thought, hey, the Genesis collection, I'm not angry about having more Genesis games to play. I heard this was a decent collection. I looked at the games list, solid collection of Genesis titles. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I could go for more Genesis games. Why not? I like
Why
the
not?
Genesis. I love the Genesis. I cut my teeth on the Genesis.
Since you're a big fan of Sega game, have you heard of the game Valkyria Chronicle?
I have it on the PS3 and I just need to play it.
It's amazing.
I've
The,
heard
the,
amazing things.
it,
And then of course when I buy it for the PS3, there's a version of it in the PS4. I'm like, damn it.
yep. But it's not that I mean they didn't change anything, just made the graphic a little bit better. It's not
Mm-hmm.
that impressive. What sucks about this series, again, they release 1, 2, 4.
Yeah.
Where's the
I've
third
noticed that.
one? Like, why? Come
I've
on.
noticed that. I actually I forgot where I was because I remember I think when I saw Valkyria Chronicle on the PS4, it's like Valkyria Chronicle collection. You have Valkyria Chronicle 1 and then 4. I'm like, but where's 2 or 3? Where'd they go?
Mhm. It's the second one is the problem with I have with the second one. It's too small. When
Mm,
the map are way too small. They try to make the game like more quicker,
hmm.
but it's not that great.
Okay.
And what I hate, that's the third one. It looks so amazing because you play as you technically play as Battlefield Bad Company, those redneck soldier. You you remember that?
Once again, I've never played Valkyria Chronicle. I know the game by reputation and I bought it secondhand. I just haven't plugged it in my
But have you
PS3 and
have
started playing.
you heard of Battlefield Bad Company?
I've heard of it.
You play as like some redneck soldier,
Oh,
some people with problem
oh,
causing problem in the army. But
oh,
technically, Valkyrie Chronicle 3, that's what you play. You play as a
um,
bunch of people who are always sent on like suicide mission because they don't want them in their team.
so
And look,
essentially they're the ones who like to cause problems.
yeah,
They're the ones who wake up and go, I choose violence today.
yeah, exactly. You play as these dumbasses, and the story looks so great. But again, we didn't get it. But I must say, I did finish the fourth game, the last one,
Hmm.
and I did stream it, and it there was a lot of people watching the stream, and it gave us a lot of emotion. It was the story was wow. It made us cry. It made us
Oh,
laugh. It made us like having like a revenge. Like, I don't want to spoil anything, but you get extremely mad at one point,
hmm.
and then when I beat it, I was like, wow, that was amazing. And they didn't get a lot of sale. That sucks. It's one of their
Yeah,
best game.
yeah. That is that is a bummer. I mean, hope once again, we can only hope for certain franchises because games are expensive, and even
Oh yes.
because there are really good game remasters and game collections that are the love is there, the attention to detail is there, the quality of life improvements are there, and even though I mean, I am part of the problem when it comes to a certain collection going to Nintendo. I bought it day one. I put money down on it day one, and I fell into the trap. But also, I wanted this because I wanted this collection. I never really experienced these games when they were on the original consoles, and that was the Mario 3D All Stars collection.
Mm-hmm.
While I was happy to have it because that was my first exposure, or not my first exposure, but that was the first time I was finally able to sit down and play a game like Super Mario 64. Because I will not lie, I bought that game solely for Mario 64. Sunshine and Galaxy, that's just extra gravy for me, baby. I wanted it for Mario 64, and when I was playing it, I was like, this is great. But wow, Nintendo, talk about a bare bones port. It was just a straight port. It wasn't a remaster. It wasn't like, I cannot tell you how many times I was trying to move the camera and I hear the brr, 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 brr. That sound haunted my nightmares for months.
The camera gets stuck. You can see shit and then you fall.
So many leaps of faith. Now, once again, some people can argue that, they're trying to preserve it as best as they can. They're trying to do all X, Y, Z. I get it, but I don't know. Maybe just put in some better quality of life improvements that we can toggle on and off at whim.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like what Capcom is doing with the Mega Man games. Like, let's see, Legacy Collection, you could rewind, which was how I beat the Yellow Demon in Mega Man 1. Because let's be real, the Yellow Demon freaking sucks and is hard as shit. You have Rookie Hunter mode for the Mega Man X games. So if you accidentally fall down a pit, you don't automatically die. You just get warped back to the ledge and you get to try again. And look at that. Mega Man Legacy Collection Battle Network. You get Buster Max mode, which lets you help speedrun the game. So you don't have to grind for 20 plus hours to get that one special chip because you need the perfect hand to beat that super hard net nabby at the late game. Look at that. All this stuff you could turn on and off. But Nintendo, come on, help us out here. And it's just like, ugh. I mean, hell, they even did it with Skyward Sword. They changed the control scheme so you can get to pick and choose what kind of control scheme you wanted. You didn't have to do the motion controls. You can do controller controls.
Oh, that's why I hated Skyward Sword. It was the motion control. I hated that. Oh, it was terrible. And then when we got this, it was like, finally, I can play the game like a normal person. Yay!
I will not lie. Skyward Sword is one of those. I was so hyped when they announced Skyward Sword. I never played Skyward Sword. And for some reason, just because of Skyward Sword's reputation, I will say the internet has definitely given the game a bad reputation in my eyes. Because like when the game first came out, all the game reviewers were giving it 10 out of 10s. They were just like praising it across the board. But then when people were actually playing it and talking about it online, they're like, no, this game isn't as good as you think it is. It's just riding off the coattails. Because I will not lie. The first Zelda game I actually beat, like from beginning to end, was Twilight Princess. Love that game. Absolutely adore that game. I thought that game was amazing. Skyward Sword looked great. Never played it. Then I played Link Between Worlds. Absolutely love it. It's my favorite Zelda game of all time. I would play other Zelda games like Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Breath of the Wild. Of course, Breath of the Wild is way up there. I cannot wait for Tears of the Kingdom, or I cannot wait to play Tears of the Kingdom. But with Skyward Sword, that's just the one Zelda game that, cool, it deserves an HD treatment. It needs, like, people should get a hold of it and play it better. But at the same time, I just don't, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I did not finish that game, but I was, I believe, at the third dungeon, and I was like getting this vibe of like, should I continue or not? This, I don't know. There's just something about this one. I'm not sure what it is. It sucks because I really love the world because I freaking love Sky of Arcadia. So it kind of remind me of this, but I don't know. There's something about it. It's like when I was in the forest, like the first forest you go in, it, when you look at the place, it look empty. Like it's big, but it does look empty. Like there's
Mm-hmm.
nothing. It feel empty. It feel
Yeah.
like they made that game like really quickly compared to the other.
Compared to the other Zeldas, yeah.
Yes.
I mean, and the thing about the Skyward Sword HD remaster, I've heard nothing but good things. I mean, it's Skyward Sword, but I've heard people say that the control scheme they thought of, because obviously when the game was first developed, they wanted the motion controls. It came with the motion control plus. There was like this whole thing that you needed to play Skyward Sword properly, and I will give Nintendo credit, because when they were remaking Skyward, or when they were HDifying Skyward Sword, they knew that they had to change the control scheme, and they also, and with the Joy-Cons, because there's still motion controls with the Joy-Cons. If you want to play
Hmm.
with the motion controls, they give
No.
the option. And I think the fact that they give you the option to do it, as in, of you and I won't do it, but the fact that they give people the option to is good.
Yeah.
The fact, for me, a really good remaster and a really good HD collection, especially when it comes to older video games, is when you're given the product. I mean, yes, people will say it's like, oh, it's just the same game. But when they give you options to do different stuff, or they give you options to help like skip through dialogue, or like speed the game up a little bit so you don't have to go through certain grindy bits, or even when they give you a whole new version that never came out in your region, I think that is a sign of not only a good remaster, but also a sign of like, hey, we know that we weren't able to do this before because of X, Y, and Z. Now we can.
Hmm.
One of my favorite games of all time, or one of my favorite game series of all time, is Kingdom Hearts. I absolutely adore Kingdom Hearts. And when Square Enix released Kingdom Hearts 1.5 and 2.5, yes, I understand. People are like, the 0.5s are, the titles are lame. But it's like, yeah, but now we're getting the final mix versions, which have more bosses. It changes the gameplay up a little bit. And we never got those in America until the HD versions came out.
Mm.
Those were only released in Japan. And then finally 1.5, 2.5, 2.8 comes out, and it's like, sweet, we have these versions finally playable in America. Never had them back in the day. They even added more dialogue, like in Kingdom Hearts 1, after you fight Sephiroth and you beat him for the first time, he just disappears and there's nothing. Final mix version, there's dialogue between him and Cloud, and you get to see him fight.
That's cool.
And you can still re-challenge Sephiroth again if you want, which is awesome.
If you go back very quickly at Mega Man Battle Network, I believe, I'm not sure though, I believe they had it. It's called Mega Man Battle Network 2.5 or 3.5. It was only Japan. I believe it was a different game, but there was one net navi that we didn't get in all the other game. It was Time Man, I believe, or Cosmo Man.
Ooh.
I
What
saw
is?
a video about this very recently, and I do believe they had it that, and they had it all about ship from the toy. You
Mm-hmm.
know, there was a toy, and
Yeah.
some battleship was only from that toy.
Mm-hmm.
The net, what's it called again, the Pete.
The
So
PT.
yeah, the PT. So there was some card that will give you some rare battleship you could not get inside the game. I believe those battleship are as well in the new version in the collection.
Yeah. You know what? I don't remember. I feel when you said like Cosmo Man or Time Man, it felt like a memory was unlocked. It's like, I feel like I have seen it before. I just can't remember where. But that's exactly what you said. The content that's locked behind like certain toys back when the games first came out, and they are not accessible anymore, or they're, at least if they are, they're just hard to get. But with these new collections, they make them accessible.
Hmm.
Um, I will I'll also throw Nintendo a bone and say this is actually a good thing that they did. When they put Super Mario 3, the Game Boy Advance version, on the NSO, they straight up said, it's like, oh no, you can access the e-reader levels. Because do you remember the Game Boy Advance e-reader?
Hmm.
So for those of you who don't know, the e-reader is this peripheral for the Game Boy Advance that you plug into the top of your system, and there's these little cards that you can swipe across, and they can unlock games, levels, and games. Just like, it was kind of like DLC before DLC in a way, but you also get to collect these cards. I wanted one, but I never had it. And when Super Mario Advance 3 or when Super Mario Advance 3 or 4, Super Mario Bros. 3 came out for the Game Boy Advance, there were more levels, but they were locked behind the e-reader. On the Nintendo Wii, on the Wii U eShop, those e-reader levels were available. And now when the game came out on NSO just a few months ago, they made those levels available, no harm, no foul. And I think that's great.
I got it. It's Mega Man Battle Network 4.5. It's called Real Operation.
And that was Japan only?
That was Japan only.
Yeah, just that sounds like a thing Japan would do. But at the same, hey, Japan got a lot of really cool stuff that we never did. But at the same time, I do feel that the Famicom disk system, if they were to bring that over to America, it probably wouldn't have done as well as it did in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
But at least we were able to get games like Zelda and Metroid on cartridges, and those things have stood the test of time.
Oh, especially, that's for sure.
Yep. Oh, another great remaster that has came out this year. I can't believe we haven't talked about it yet, because this game was number one on my list for I need this remastered. I need this remastered now. Metroid Prime.
Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna hate me though.
Why?
I did play this recently.
Oh, you didn't like it?
Yeah.
Understandable. I will say
I do like it to a certain point, but then it's like for some reason I think the part I don't like is that it's a very futuristic game, which I like, but then when you start exploring the planet, I don't remember the name of the planet, but it's forest, then ice mountain, then that's not the maybe later in the game, but at the point where I was, it felt like I'm playing like a medieval game instead of like a futuristic game, if you know what I mean.
So that you felt like you were playing more of a fantasy game than a science fiction game.
Yeah.
Okay. I could here. I always thought you were going to talk about the control scheme from side scroll to first person. But
no, the control are pretty good. It's just like I did fight some bosses. I had a ton of fun, but the only thing that I was like, I wish there was more to, because I did love to explore the
ruins,
the ruin of Samus. What are they called again? The bird people?
Yeah, the Chozo.
Yeah, the Chozo. Yeah. I did love this a lot. I was reading all the text, but then I was like, I wish there was more futuristic stuff. Like it's just like a barren planet with forests and stuff. I did finish the first one, the remake of the first one. And in that one, I had more fun because it felt a little bit more futuristic. That's the only thing I don't like about the first one. It's that it felt like I was
you felt more like it was in a medieval fantasy setting than
it was like Master Chief, but fighting like cockroaches and stuff. Like, wait, where's dealing with guns stuff?
You wanted more like space pirates and other.
Yeah, exactly.
I will say that. Okay, I can definitely see that. I mean, I don't know why I haven't picked up Metroid Prime, because I told myself I want to beat Metroid Prime remastered before I got Tears of the Kingdom. And I've been playing Mega Man mostly. Probably also Mega Man's a very give me serotonin type of game.
Just to say, that's why I love the first level like crazy. When you go inside a space pirate ship, that was really fucking cool. Like the part I didn't like is that they're almost all dead.
Yeah. Yeah. Metroid. I will say Metroid Prime, because I've been wanting that game, but also once again options, and even going back to the control schemes, because back on the the original Metroid Prime, you had the C stick to move your cursor around.
Mm-hmm.
And now with this remaster, there's like multiple different types of controls you can use, like, or control schemes you could use. And because I'm doing dual stick, like traditional first person shooter style control scheme.
Mm-hmm.
I'm loving it. It is, to me, it's so buttery smooth. It's so easy to get used to play the game. And the fact that when people who have played this game, who grew up on the GameCube versions, like, no, I miss this old style, and they can switch back to it with a click of a button. And this remaster has sold gangbusters. When Nintendo Shadow dropped it, I was screaming. I was like, finally! All my friends on my co-hosts on the podcast were like, great, Ben could finally shut the fuck up about playing this game. Because I would constantly lament on how I never got to play Metroid Prime Remaster or Metroid Prime on the GameCube or the versions on the Wii, and now I do. And it's amazing. And I love it.
And the second thing I don't like, because I do like it to a certain point. I do have to take some break. That's what I'm trying to say. The second thing I don't like about it is sometimes you have to go get an item, and then it's all the way back. So you go all the way back, you get that item, you come back, you unlock that door, you go in, like, oh, you know that item you just went to get to this in this area? You have to go back again. Like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
This is the only part I don't like. The rest of the gunplay is really fun. I like the puzzle. There was one that the chat had to help me with it because I didn't know what to do. But the most fun part I believe I had with Metro Prime is the bosses. I love fighting the bosses. It's really fun.
Oh, that I definitely need to get back into that game. That game has just been an absolute blast. Yeah, another sign of another great remaster, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Mint, unfortunately, we are coming up on time. Is there any other remaster you want to talk about really quick before we go today?
Not a remaster, but I do want to talk about Armored Core 6.
Armored Core 6!
Oh, yes. So many memes on Twitter about me about this game.
I'm pretty sure if once that game was announced, if I was very cool, if you could, on a quiet night, you could still hear your squeal of joy across, going through the night sky. It's just talking about how awesome Armored Core 6 looked.
Yes.
I hope. Now, obviously, it's a 6th entry in the game, but Armored Core is one of those series that a lot of gamers do know, but some don't know. I'm one who does not know. But I'm pretty sure, I have a feeling that even though Armored Core 6 may be my first entry into the Armored Core franchise, it's going to be one of those games where I don't have to know, or I don't have to experience the former Armored Cores to thoroughly enjoy this game. I have a feeling it's going to be like that, like where fans are going to obviously love it, and newcomers are going to be welcomed with open arms.
Well, the first one, the original first one, it was the first one, then Project Phantasma, and then Master of the Arena. It was technically 1, 2, and 3. Then when it came to 2, it was like a reboot. It was 2, 2, and then there was a 2 Unearthed H, and then there was 2 and 2 Unearthed Age. It was a follow up to the first one on the 3 first one on PlayStation 1. Then 3, when it started, it was a reboot of all the other game. So it was 3, Sun Online, I believe it was Last Raven, and then it became to 4, 5, 4 and 5 are technically connected. So I believe you're right on 6. It's going to be like a relaunch again. Like you don't have to know anything about it. But they did mention the word Raven, which is the mercenary company you fight with. If the word Raven is mentioned, I believe there will be stuff from the first one, the second one, the third one. All be connected. But this one, I believe it's gonna be more like an open world, because when I saw that like robot snake coming out, which I never seen in any other of the Armored Core game, it was like, okay, they're trying to do like a Elder Ring mix. That's what I think it's gonna happen. That I cannot wait to see so many people complain how the game is too difficult.
It's a FromSoft game. You should know this by now, other
Yeah,
gamers.
the thing is that I did finish the first one like very recently, and
Mhm.
this is the one, the kind of game that yes, like in let's say Dark Soul, you die, you can restart. Where at the last like fireplace, I believe.
Mhm.
But this one, when you fail a mission, it's over. You
Oh.
cannot redo that mission. You lose like not opinion, like what's it called again, like trust. You lose some
Mm.
trust with the company that hire you to do that mission.
Mhm.
So technically, when you're gonna restart a new mission with them, it might be less rewarding,
Oh.
maybe more dangerous and stuff. Like
Mhm.
there was one mission, it was like I had to protect like a prototype radar.
Mhm.
As soon as the mission start, I turn myself. I shoot the door, the door where the radar is. The
Mhm.
door explode. The turrets are like confused, like what the hell is going on? I enter the room. I pick up the radar. Like it said on the screen, you acquired a new armored car part that said mission fail, and I because you get email in this game, it's like, what
Oh.
the hell did you do? What did you stole our radar? We hired you to protect it. I'm like, the mission was paid $55,000. That radar costs $200,000. I'm gonna take the radar. So yeah, you can be bad in this game if you want
Okay.
to. That's the
Uh,
kind of game it is.
so yeah, Armored Core 6. Um, man, because I will not lie, seeing that game obviously with FromSoft, I mostly associate FromSoft with like fantasy style games, Dark Souls, Bloodborne, Elden Ring. But seeing that they're doing this type of game makes me so excited. I mean, like we said, like even though the topic of this episode is remasters, this game isn't a remaster; it's brand spanking new. But when you were telling me about how the different Armored Core games, for going from 1, 2, and 3, how they kind of reboot and change the
Mhm.
previous one, I'm very excited, and I really hope this lives up to the hype.
I hope. I really hope, because it makes a long time we didn't get a new Armored Core game. And just to finish the podcast, I wanted to talk about one last thing very
Mm-hmm.
quickly.
Oh yeah, go for it.
I'm pretty sure you're a big fan of Chrono Trigger.
Oh, don't hate me. Okay, okay. So before you get mad, and before the rest of the internet gets mad, I do have a copy of Chrono Trigger, and I can prove it too. Just hold on, 5 seconds. Come on, come on. I just took a trip recently, and I brought. So yeah, I have a copy of Chrono Trigger.
Good.
I have the DS copy. I'm very happy that I scored this because I paid $75 for this, and not only that, this version is the one that comes with the poster.
Oh,
Yeah, I can eat it. It's right here. Come on, get out.
mine is on my wall inside
Here it
a
is.
frame.
Here's the
Nice.
poster. Here's the Chrono Trigger poster. All the inserts are there. The manual is here. Everything is here. The game's not there just because the reason the game's not there is because the game is in my whatchamacallit. It's in my case because I traveled with it to because I
Okay.
brought this with me when I went to Hawaii.
Hmm.
But I have the game. I made it my mission to get this version of the game because I heard the DS version is the way to play this game. I just have not sat down and played it yet. I promise I will. It's on my list. It's up there in the echelon of RPGs I need to play. I've had
It
this game
is.
for over a year, over 2 years, in fact, and I just need to sit down and play the goddamn game. I have it though. It's here. Look, internet, I own a copy of this masterpiece. I know it's a masterpiece. Too many games, damn it.
Well, there's there's technically a Chrono Trigger 2 coming out, right?
Was that not Chrono Cross?
Mm-mm.
Or
No. No, they're trying to connect Chrono Cross with Chrono Trigger, but it doesn't fit very well. But
Mm-hmm.
no, there's to be honest, it's not a Chrono Trigger game. It's not with Chrono and all the other character. But
Mm-hmm.
there's a game that's coming out very soon. I believe it's in September, and it'll look very Chrono Trigger. It'll look
Hmm.
very amazing. It's called Sea of Star, made by a
Sea of Star.
French company from Quebec, where I am. I'm so
Yay!
happy, and people. I did meet two of the people who work there. They're super friendly, and they are putting their blood and soul into that game. So I believe when it's gonna come out, it's gonna be like people are gonna non-stop talking about it, like those two games, like the one with the insect, what's it called again,
Hollow Knight.
Hollow Knight. And it's gonna be like a legendary game like this, like this one. I
Okay.
can't see of Star. I cannot wait to see this.
Oh, there's another RPG. It's on my wish list. That it's 16-bit. It's a turn-based RPG. It's fantasy, but there's also mechs involved.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh
I'm
man, what
gonna
is that game?
moan.
Let me hold up. Let me see if I could find that real quick. I think I could pull up my wish list on my app. Because when I heard about this, I'm like, oh,
I think
I
I
cannot tell you how much I perked up because
I
I'm like,
think
I
I
want that.
know what you're talking about. Chain Echoes.
Yes, that's it. Chained Echoes.
Yeah, I did order it, the physical version.
I mean, you say it's a turn-based RPG, 16-bit graphics. Already is like just ticking off all these boxes for me. And then it's like, yeah, it's a fantasy RPG, but you also get to drive giant mechs. I'm like,
Mhm.
excuse me?
Mine
Uh,
game. My
I'm
game.
I'm like essentially fantasy Mobile Suit Gundam. Count me in.
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
am all
mine.
for that.
Mine.
I mean, I haven't. I will say I haven't bought the game yet. It's on my wish list. It's definitely one of the games I want to get. It's definitely one of the games that, once again, just too many games. Too many
Too
games.
much game. Too much game.
Too many games.
And yeah, for the next time you invite me for the podcast, I will try to connect the VR headset so you can actually see me through an avatar that the
Yeah.
cat girl had.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
Yeah. Good.
wanted to do that to them tonight, but it didn't work. The wire's not enough.
Yeah.
I need an extension
You need an
cable.
extended cord. Well, because audio listeners, of course, you can't see her, but for people who are watching this, it's like my guest before you. It's just the stick man of.
Oh, okay.
It's just the stick man because my guest before you meant his camera wasn't working. It just would not connect to the website that we used to record. But next time you come on the show, we'll definitely, hopefully, you have that extender. But next
Mhm.
time you come on, it's probably going to be after I played Armored Core 6. Because now that
Yeah.
I know you're a huge, because obviously you're the biggest Armored Core fan I know, and it would be awesome to talk that game. And also just to probably lament on how many times I died on a certain boss. Because
Mhm.
even just going back to playing, to remembering me playing Elden Ring, on how just how vindicating it was, or valid. It was vindicating when I finally beat Margit.
Mhm.
I wrote like when the game first came out, everyone was complaining about Margit, or even because I know they did patch Star Scourge Radon. Because when me and my co-host Ryan, he and I went to we played the game together. We were helping each other fight bosses, going into each other's games, having an absolute blast. And he was telling me about how much Radon sucks because he beat him pre-patch. I beat him post-patch on my first try. But I also had help. I'm not going to say I didn't have help. I had a lot of help.
Oh, I cannot wait.
Yep. August is that's gonna be a killer month. And we're already going like next month, June. Final Fantasy 16 is coming out, and
Mhm.
with Tears of the Kingdom, yes, that's knocking out my door. But same with Final Fantasy 16. That's the game that I have been just absolutely on the hype train for.
Uh,
I cannot wait for that game.
I need to clone myself. There's too much game.
Tagline of the episode: too much game, too many games.
Too much game.
Too many games. But Mint, thank you again so much for coming back on the show. It has been an absolute blast to talk to you again.
Thank you for inviting me.
Of course. And where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter, the same name, or you can find me on Twitch with the same name.
Just look Mint Blais. You'll find her.
You're going to find me.
Mm-hmm. And of course, you can follow me, Ben Magnet, at BenMag27, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all that jazz, writing for a whole bunch of stuff. Mint, it has been an absolute pleasure. I can't wait to talk to you again when Armored Core 6 comes out.
Yes.
That's going to be a good time. Until next time.
Merci beaucoup.
You're very welcome. And unpause.
Bye-bye.